Hello everyone, this is Dr. Achal Singh and I welcome you all in our course module of the services marketing. Earlier also we have discussed out the concept of the marketing research in the field of the services marketing. What are the need, what is the importance of the marketing research in the concept of the services marketing discipline, and how the services marketing research process is being used, that we have dealt in our previous discussion. In today's discussion and in today's deliberation, we will be dealing with the strategic marketing process for the services discipline. So, moving out with our slides. Now, this slide says the fact that strategic marketing process for services. How to strategically pursue out the marketing process in the field of the services, what are the important steps, what are the important flow of events that should be undertaken by the producer, by the manufacturer in order to craft out their strategies and the procedural plans in a more predefined and in a more effective way. So, strategic marketing process for services, it says that the very first step is being related with marketing research and analysis. Marketing research and analysis. So, market research and analysis, here the subcomponents of the market research and analysis is being said in the sense of identification of the target market. For a producer, as a producer or as a manufacturer, you have to firstly identify and explore the target market area. The target market area means that is where you have to focus out your efforts in terms of the 7 P's, because in case of the services marketing, we are limiting our discussion towards the 7 ingredients of the marketing strategies, and that are in the form of the product, price, place and promotion. Apart from the 4 conventional P's, we are adding 3 more P's, because services are abstract in nature and they are defined in the terms of people, process and physical evidence. So, identification of the target matter, that is the identification of the target market, it says that here you have to understand the demographics, preferences and the behaviors of the potential customers. Target market, that is over whom you want to focus out your efforts in terms of the 7 P's. Who are the people for whom you are just trying to manufacture out your products? The products are physical products, or the products may be abstract products, because in case of the services we are more been inclined towards limiting out our discussion in case of the abstractness with the deeds, with the performance, with the efforts that the marketers are trying to pursue, they are trying to create and they are offering in the for the target audience. So, defining out the target market area in terms of the demographic features, in the terms of the preferences of the customers, in terms of the likings and the dislikings, in terms of the psychographic features which the audience are trying to make to you and they are trying to dispose of the market area. Now, here it is very imperative that the marketers are trying to foresee that who are the people who are not using out your products at the present point of time, or who are not consuming out their services at the present point of time, but they may be using out your services in the future course of action. So, if those individuals who are not consuming out your offerings presently, but they may be turning out as a customer for you, as a consumer for you, those individuals are being talked of as a potential customers. So, identification of the target market, it is all being talked of in the sense of the future customers, in the sense of the future consumers. Competitive analysis should also be done. Now, here the competitive analysis says you the fact that the competitors analysis, the people who are directly giving you a challenge for you and they are being classified in the terms of the rivals, that is the direct rivals. There are certain kind of people, there are certain kind of firms that are operating in the industrial environment and they are giving you at an indirect kind of challenge. So, if you as in a business organization, suppose we can take out an example, suppose you are as in a business organization, you are offering your services related within a grooming center, related in a wellness center, and if there is another firm, if there is another service provider who is there operating in the marketing environment and it is also providing you the certain kind of services that is being related within a medical, that is being related within a medical or the health, giving you a healthy lifestyle in terms of the establishment of the health center or the wellness center, then it means that here the firm that is there in the operating environment, they will be giving out in a direct challenge for you and they will be classified as a direct competitors or the direct rivals. So, competitive analysis is also being assessed, it is being assessed by the manufacturers in terms of analyzing out their strength and the weaknesses. You have to identify out the gaps that are existing in the marketing environment, that where is in a gap that is existing and how to fulfill in the gaps. So, it is being talked of in the sense of the niche marketing. Now, this niche marketing strategy says you the fact that here as a producer, as a service provider, you have to just ensure that what are the untouched and the unbanked and the untouched area which are there existing in the marketing environment, and how to just fulfill in that particular gap. So, there can be a situation wherein your competitors have not realized that there is a gap, there is an area to satiate the needs and the aspirations of the people who are residing in that particular society. But you as an innovator, as you as a marketer or the service provider, you have identified that particular kind of gap that is existing in a particular kind of chosen market area, and you from your 7 P's, you have crafted out your 7 P's in terms of fulfillment of that particular gap that you have tried to witness upon. So, that is what is being talked about as the identification of the gaps in the market area. Now, the next one is the SWOT analysis. We have already said that in the internal strength and the weaknesses has to be analyzed, it has to be monitored. Definitely it is internal in nature, so that is more clearly being pronounced and more being accentuated. But what to say about the variables which are external in nature, and these variables are being sensed out in the form of the opportunities and the threats. So, as an agile and effective marketer, you have to just convert out those threats into opportunities. How to just sense out that the variables are operating in the environment, and they will be just very much favorable enough to you to use that particular changes, and that will be terming as an opportunity for them. There can be situations wherein the variables are giving out a challenge for you. So, you as a marketer, you have to just convert those threats that are uncontrollable in nature and that are existing in the macro environment to convert or to just improvise in such a form that are terming it as a strength for you, or terming as a challenge for you, terming as an opportunity for you. Now, the next one, that is segmentation, targeting and positioning. We have already studied in the fact, previous discourse we have discussed the fact that this is a strategy that is all being related within a segmentation, targeting and positioning, that is acronym of the STP approach. This STP approach is more being feasible, it is more being imperative enough, because we know that the segmentation is being talked of in the sense of the division of the market into the distinct groups based on the characteristics like the demographics, psychographics and the behaviors. Any kind of parameter may be chosen by a producer, by a marketer for the purpose of finding out a common resemblance which are there, because it is not feasible and not preferable for the marketers or for the producers to satiate the divergent needs and the aspirations of the different set of people who are residing in the society. So, what they are trying to do, they are trying to find out a common resemblance, and that common resemblance may be defined in terms of the finding out their aspirations or finding out the common homogeneous group, keeping in consonance the psychographic features, keeping into consonance the demographic validation, or the competitors analysis may also be taken as a base for the purpose of choosing out a common resemblance amongst the group of people who are residing in the society. Now, this is a strategy of the segmentation. Here the segmentation may also be done taking into account the customer's loyalty, the purchase pattern, the behavior they are showing, their opinions, attitudes they are holding on in their mind with regard to the offerings that are trying to deal upon the market area. So, any kind of base the standard can be taken for the purpose of finding out a common resemblance amongst the group of customers who are residing in the society and who are trying to make use of your offerings as compared to the offering that the customer that the competitors are trying to dispose of the market area. So, the segmentation strategy. After segmentation, the marketers and the producers have to just try to target upon, they have to just focus out their effort towards the targeting. The targeting is all being related with a selection of the most promising segments to focus upon, because we know that there can be different kind of approaches. Either we can have a concentrated targeting approach, we can have a marketing strategy of the approach of undifferentiated strategy, we can have a differentiated strategy. How to craft out, how to build up, how to just develop out your strategies in terms of 7 P's, because in case of the services marketing area, we are more concerned towards the 7 P's. So, how to just make out your effort, how to just craft out your effort towards targeting or towards the chosen market area, that is in the second step, that is the targeting. It is being related, it is being associated with finding out the promising market area that is more being fruitful enough, that is more being profitable enough to you in terms of the reaping out the gains, in terms of expanding out your market size, in terms of finding more profitable gains in the future course of action. That is all being talked of in a targeting strategy. The next and the last one is the strategy of the positioning, and the positioning talks about the development of the unique value proposition that clearly communicates how your service meets the needs of your target market better than the competitors. Now, positioning is all being related within a fact that you as a marketer, how you are trying to position out the image of your offerings into the minds of your target audience in such a way that the target audience themselves, they are being lured and they are being motivated enough to buy out your product. So, this is a very important strategy to talk of, and if you as a marketer or a producer, you are very much being successful enough towards positioning strategy. You have crafted out your strategy of the positioning in a very efficient and a very effective way. Then that means that your promotional effort, the cost and the outlays or the expenditures that you are incurring in terms of the promotional efforts will be it will be substantially being minimized to a greater extent. So, the positioning is what being related within a fact that you as a marketer, you as a producer, you have to just modify the image of your offerings into the minds of your prospects in such a way that the prospects and the customers, they themselves are being lured towards buying your products. So, that means here, as in positioning, if you have crafted out your strategy in terms of the positioning in a very effective way, it means that the producers, they don't have to incur additional cost in terms of the promotion, in terms of making out the awareness and the information of your offerings to your target audience, in addition to the efforts that they are already being putting in with regard to making out their product being positioned effectively. So, this is the strategy of the positioning. Moving on to the next slide. Now, the strategic marketing process for services. Here, the marketing strategy development. What are the important steps, or how to just go in for the sequential flow of events for the purpose of developing out your marketing mix. Marketing mix is all being related in the sense of the 4 P's. Conventionally, we are being concerned within a 4 P's, and the 4 P's is all being talked of in the sense of the product, price, place and promotion, defining out your services and the features. The very first product being talked of in the arena of the offerings, the arena of the abstractness, the arena of the main core offerings that you are trying to propose in the market area. So, defining out the services, maybe you may go in for the defining of the services in terms of the health sector, in the terms of the education sector, in terms of the hospitality sector, the core offering, the core benefit that you are trying to dispose of in the market area towards meeting out the expectations of the target audience. So, that has to be defined, that is your core benefit that you are trying to dispose of in terms of the product. And the second one is the price. We know that our strategy and the price is one of the element that is generating revenue for the enterprise. So, that, and nowadays our customers, our target audience, or every individual in the society who is there in the society, they are becoming price conscious. So, as a producer, we have to see that what are the strategies that we are defining in terms of the establishment of the price should be reasonable enough, should be justifiable enough, and that justifiability may be sensed, it may be just sensed in terms of the prices that the competitors are trying to float in the market area. So, that if we as a producer, we are trying to take the consonance of the pricing strategy of the competitors, that will be talked of that is as a strategy of the competitors parity pricing strategy. We may also undergo, or we may also pursue out the strategy of the cost based or the penetration pricing strategy, or the value based pricing strategy, or the dynamic strategy. So, in case of we can take an example like in case of the airlines industry. The airlines industry are taking the help of the dynamic pricing strategy, because here the demand and the supply is definitely, it is very much being a challenging factor for the marketers to define and to predict out the demand of their hospitality sector or for their airline industries. So, airline industries is what they are just trying to pursue out the policy of the dynamic pricing strategy. The third one is the place, and this is all being talked of in the sense of the distribution channel, the storehouses that you are using out to house in your products. Safe, that should be safe and steel free. But here, in case of the services, we know that the important characteristics of the services are they cannot be housed in, they cannot be inventorized, they cannot be stored in for a longer period of time, not even for a longer period of time. Here we are saying that the production and the consumption, they are happening out simultaneously at a particular point of time. Whenever you are offering out the pure services, it means that you as a producer, there should be in the presence of the producer, and at the same point of time the consumer and the customer should be there. Then only the effective assimilation and the consumption of the services may happen. So, this is in a case wherein we are saying that in case of the services, or in the case of the services marketing discipline, it is not feasible enough to store or to produce out your commodity or produce out your offering at a particular point of time and to use it later for at a later discourse. That is not possible, that is not feasible also in case of the pure services. But sometimes we can say that in certain situations, if you are consuming out in a physical commodity, Definitely, we have already said that with the consumption of every physical commodity, there lies an abstractness, there lies in a certain kind of benefits, the associations that are intangible in nature, and we are just trying to assimilate and consume that with every physical product we are consuming that particular kind of intangible benefits. So, let us start. We were saying that this particular slide, it is being talked of in the sense of the strategic marketing process for the services, and we were discussing about the third P, that is being related within a place. So, we have already discussed that the services, in case of the services, it is not feasible for the producer to store for a later course of action in case of the pure services, but in the case of the goods, in case of the goods that are physical in nature, and with the consumption of every physical commodity, we are saying that there lies an abstractness. So, it is in a situation in which we can see that with the consumption of the pure commodity, if we are having out or if we are experiencing, we are cherishing out certain intangible benefits, then that leads towards having out a situation wherein we can store our physical commodity for a later course of action, for the use of the later course of action. Now, the last P, that is being talked of in the sense of the promotion, and promotion is all being related within a disposition of your strategies for the purpose of informing, making your customers aware, making your customers and the target audience aware regarding the offerings that you are trying to deal upon. You may go in for any kind of promotion appeal depending upon the nature of objectives that you want to fulfill upon, depending upon the nature of the commodity that you are trying to offer. Firstly, you have to just take into consideration the nature of the commodity, the nature of the offerings that you are trying to dispose of in the market area, because depending upon the nature of the commodity and depending upon the target audience and the feasibility that you are having on in terms of the organizational resources, you are very much free enough to rely on any kind of informational source, any kind of promotional source, be it a source of the print media, be it a source of the broadcast media, be it a source of the online media. So, nowadays we are more inclined enough, many manufacturers, many service providers, many producers, they are more relying on the social media, the use of the social media, and we know that our target audience, our customers and the consumers, they are making use of the internet and the digital modes very often, very frequently, and they are more being pronounced, their presence are more being pronounced in the virtual environment also. So, that is why in the field of the marketing discipline, we are saying we are not limiting our discussion towards the purchase and the consumption of the products or the offerings in a particular brick and mortar store, but apart from the brick and mortar store, we are also being concerned towards making out our disposition in the virtual mode, and that is what is being termed as a digitalized mode. And if digitalized mode, if the transactions are happening, they are taking place, they are being affected in a digitalized mode or in a virtual mode, then that particular situation is being talked of as in a situation of meta space. So, as a producer, as a manufacturer, we have to just take into consideration that meta place and meta space both has to be taken into consideration. Now, move to the next one, monitoring and evaluation. Now, monitoring and evaluation is very much a needed aspect in case of the services arena. How to monitor, how to evaluate, there are certain kind of feedback areas, there are certain kind of performance indicators, and these performance indicators are said to be associated with from the customer's perspective. They are also being associated in terms of the retention factors of the customers, the revenue growth. The feedback mechanism, the feedbacks can be given with the use of the surveys, the reviews, the direct feedbacks of the customers or from the service providers. There can be suitable strategies, and that is being based on the performance data, refining the marketing strategies and the tactics that is being needed enough. Now, the monitoring and the evaluation, we know that every process and every plans and every process, especially we are limiting our discussion towards the strategic marketing process for the services arena. So, every marketing process or the strategic, we are using out the word strategic, it means strategically we are hovering out, we are crafting out, we are drafting out, we are establishing out our 7 P's very strategically, very beautifully, having out a certain kind of value that is creating as a competitive advantage for us as compared to the competitors. So, a strategic marketing process in case of the service discipline, in case of the service arena, there has to be definitely as a producer, as a manufacturer, you have to just monitor it, you have to just evaluate it. So, how to monitor, how to evaluate, there has to be certain kind of monitoring mechanisms. there has to be certain kind of parameters to talk of, and these parameters definitely will be more being associated with the customer satisfaction, because we as a producer, we are trying to make all our effort towards making out or towards meeting out the expectations and the wants of the customers at large. So definitely the customer satisfaction, the delightment is very much being needed enough. It's acting as a very important parameter for the purpose of acting as a key indicator towards measuring out our performance, that how we as a producer, we as a service provider, whether effectively we are trying to provide it or not, whether we are being able enough to satiate out the the expectations and aspirations of the target audience, or whether where are the lacunas, where are the shortcomings that are existing in our crafting out of the 7 strategies, 7 P's, that is. The feedback can be taken from the customers also, the feedback can be taken from the competitors, maybe from other stakeholders who are operating in the environment. The stakeholders may be directly being related towards knowing out your functionality, that is in the form of the people who are working in your establishment. Definitely they are in direct touch with the customers. There are certain kind of employees who are in direct touch with the customers, who are offering you the services to the customers indirectly. So direct customers, that is the frontline staff, the backline staff, the backend staff. They are the employees who are deployed in your organization, and these are the employees, these are the staff who are having a greater feel that what are the expectations which the customers are holding out in their mind from your product, from your services. So definitely the feedback mechanism has to be developed, that has to be evolved, and that has to be procured from different kind of sources, from each and everyone who is acting as a stakeholder in the society. So and the last point, it deals with the adjusting strategies. The strategies which you are trying to pursue for the purpose of making out your strategies, the marketing strategies especially, is more being refined, more being tactfully being designed, more being crafted beautifully, efficiently, so that you are having, or you are reaping out in a profitable gains in terms of maximizing out the profit, in terms of expanding out your customer database. The next point, the continuous improvement. Stay cautious, regularly you have to review out the market trends, you have to offer up your offerings accordingly, encouraging out the innovations, encouraging creativity, development of the new services to meet out the evolving changes. Now the strategic marketing process, it is also being said to talk of to be remain vigilant. We are using out the word strategy, it means that strategically we are dealing, we are proactive as a manager, as a producer. We are very much being proactive, we are very much being agile, we are very much being smart enough to know out the strategies which the competitors are trying to float in the market area, and before their strategies, we as a producer, we are just trying to foresee, and we are trying to evolve that particular kind of change, and we are just coming out with flying colors in terms of the evolvement of a new kind of offering, and that particular evolvement should be in consonance with the meeting out the objectives and the expectations and the aspirations which the people are holding. The next one is service marketing process or service marketing planning process. Whenever we are using out the word plan, it means that we are being related within a future course of action. So future is definitely uncertain, we are making out certain kind of assumptions, and those assumptions are being defined in terms of the premises. So service marketing process, here it is being written in the slide, that is in the process of developing the strategic framework to effectively promote and deliver out the services to the customers. It involves analyzing the market, defining out the target audience, establishing goals and strategies to attract and retain customers. Our strategy as a producer, as a service provider, is to not only to satiate the needs and the wants of the target audience, but yes, to explore out the potential needs, to explore out the prospects who are turning out as customers for you, to explore out the potential customers who will be turning as consumers for you. So that is in a very important objective that the customer, that the marketers and the producers has to just they have to just foresee that how we are just not only retaining out their present customers more beautifully in a more defined way, but as a producer you have to just foresee that these quantum of customers who are existing in the market area should be expanded enough, and they should be retained for a longer period of time. So the steps involved in the service marketing planning, they are there. And they are in the form of understanding the services, the marketing research, setting up the objectives, developing and implementing strategies, monitoring and evaluation, and the continuous development. So this is in these kind of process, these kind of stages we have already discussed in our earlier slides, in our previous slides, that how to just firstly you have, as a producer, as a manufacturer, you have to understand out your core elements. What is utility that you are trying to dispose of the market area, and whether that particular utility is having a capability to satiate the expectations and the needs of the people at large, because we know that there are certain kind of needs The needs are very much being prominent enough, they are very much being common enough for each and every individual who are residing in the society. The individual, the human beings, or whether we are talking of with regard to fulfillment of the needs of the animals also. But we as an individual, we as a consumer, we as a target audience, our needs are being defined in a socially acceptable way. We are trying to fulfill out our needs in a rational way, in a logical way, as compared to the fulfillment of the needs of the animals. So that is why we are saying, and we are being said that we as a human beings, or we are being talked of in the category of the social animals. So the need of satiating out the biological needs, that is the physiological needs, not psychological. The biological needs or the basic needs or the physiological needs, they are being same for each and every living being who are a resident of the society or a resident of this particular nation. So the understanding of the offerings, the core offerings that are trying to dispose of the market area in consonance with the meeting of the basic needs. The marketing research, we have already said that it's in a systematic process of the gathering of the information, defining out your problem in consonance with the definition of the problem. You are gathering out the information may be of any source, from the primary, from the secondary, and then using out that particular information for the fulfillment of your research objectives, and that research objectives will be in consonance with getting rid of the problem that you have identified in the very first step, that is the marketing research problem. The fourth step, it talks about the development, the implementation of the strategies in terms of the 7 P's. We are limiting our discussion repetitively in terms of the 7 P's, because we know that in case of the service marketing discipline area, we are more being concerned towards the definition and the proposition of the 7 P's, that is the product, price, place and promotion. Apart from the 4 P's, the people, process and physical evidence. The people, process and physical evidence, they are very much playing a very important pivotal role, because it is the people who is there being deployed in your organization, and they are having on a capability, whether the people are skilled or whether they are unskilled. They should be trained enough, they should be oriented enough, so that they are having a capability to meet out or to meet up to the expectations which the customers are holding in their mind. Monitoring and evaluation, definitely it's very much being needed enough in each and every process, in each and every plan. There should be a mechanism of monitoring, there should be a mechanism of adaptability, there should be a mechanism of evaluation. Then only we will be in a position to just chuck out the deviations that we are experiencing, the actual performance that we have measured or that we have experienced, the strategies that we are pursuing right now at present point of time, where are the deviations that we are experiencing, what are the shortcomings and the loopholes that we are experiencing in our strategies and our procedure plans, in our drafting out the objectives or the fulfillment of our working procedures, and how to just build up, how to just remove out that particular gaps or that particular kind of shortcomings or the loophole that we have experienced in our whole journey of action. So this is in a technique, this is in a step that is playing a very important, a pivotal role, in which we are monitoring out our activities, the deviations are being measured, and how to just get rid of that particular deviations with the help of an effective tool mechanism, that is the controlling mechanism should be there. And all these corrective and the controlling mechanism will be used for the purpose of evolvement, for the purpose of our continuous development. So last step, it talks about the continuous evolvement, the evolvement may be in the form of the continuous growth, the continuous prosperity and the innovation. So until and unless you are creative, you will not be able to be talked of as an innovative. There should be a creative bent of mind within your personality, acting in any functional area of your organization, of your department, of your unit, of your section, but you should be having that particular creative bent of mind. Because of that particular creation, you will be able to evolve certain kind of new kind of changes. Now this is in a marketing planning process in a very nutshell. It gives you an overview. This is what is being talked of in a situation analysis. The second one is development of the mission statement and objectives, determining the business corporation. The next one is strategic analysis and the business unit, strategic analysis of business units, selecting business objectives and strategies, and the last one, it all talks about the preparation of the business unit to strategic plan. Situation analysis, this is in a pictorial presentation wherein it says the fact that firstly we have to analyze out the situation. We have to earlier also we have said that within the parameters of the vision and the mission, we are defining out our corporate objectives. So here The strategic marketing planning process, it says that situation analysis should be undertaken by the pre-users, by the manufacturers. Your corporate objectives should be defined within the parameters of the vision and the mission that you are holding out in your organization. You have to develop out the business competition. You have to strategically foresee the strategic analysis of the business units that you are holding on. The objectives and the strategies should clearly be defined. And then the last one is the preparation of the business unit strategic plan. Now, this particular slide, it says about the internal marketing. How now this particular internal marketing, why it is being talked of here for the purpose of making out an effective strategic marketing plan is because we know that the internal planning is all being related within a satiation of your internal employees. The employees who are working in your establishment, firstly they have to be satiated in terms of their fulfillment of the needs and the aspirations and the their psychological attributes, then only they will be having on a conducive bent of mind, they are having on a, their productivity will be increased, enhanced, they will be working out with their best ability. So, this internal marketing concept, it gives you the notion that here employees are working as a very important role, they are the very important stakeholders of any organization. So, the employees has to be valued, they has to be informed, they has to be ensured, they have to be just realized with the fact that their monetary benefits are sure enough, their monetary benefits are good enough as compared to the monetary benefits which the rivals are giving off. They sometimes they have to be motivated in terms of their non-monetary benefits. They has to be given with the best employees of the month. They have to be just ensured they have to be just ensured that they are the people who are working in their establishment and they are having a capability to make the organization to outgrow in a better kind of way. So, that particular kind of organizational culture should be there in your establishment, so that the employees are working beautifully, wholeheartedly, and that is what is the concept of the internal marketing deals about. Now, internal marketing also says the fact that there is a components, employee engagement should be there in terms of their communication, the participation, certainly the training and the development mechanism should be there in order to enhance out their skills, the career opportunities, to upgrade out the career opportunities. Organizational culture should be of such a nature in which we are adopting out in a very democratic kind of leadership style. You are not using out in a autocratic leadership style. You as a manager holding out of the top position, you should be able to motivate and convince out your employees not only by giving them a proper and adequate perks and packages which is being defined in terms of the monetary one, but non-monetary benefits and packages should also be given, and then that is a mechanism in which they will be developing out, having an orientation of working cohesively, working out very wholeheartedly in terms of fulfillment of the philosophy of Aspirative Corps. This is all about the rewards and the recognition, customer centric focus. So, here we have already said that in this particular slide we have said that we have dealt with the strategic marketing planning process which is very much being suitably being relevant in case of the services marketing discipline, how to go in for the different kind of steps, how the employees are playing a very important role towards developing that particular cohesiveness in your working organization, so that if they are very much being satisfied enough, they are very much being gratified enough, then they will be working wholeheartedly to pursue out the strategy of the strategic service marketing process. So, this is all about in today's discussion and deliberation. I hope you have understood and you have enjoyed. So, till then stay safe and stay blessed. We will be meeting in another session. Thank you all.